Have you ever considered how much power you have just by living your life? The decisions you make? The strength of your faith? It is difficult to ignore. People are watching, discussing, and even challenging you because they believe you are special. You are not here by chance, and you are not leading a normal life. You are on a different route. A route that encourages others to examine their own lives and consider if they too may move higher. This is not about fitting in or seeking favor. It is about embracing the light inside you that was designed to shine so brilliantly. Others are left inspired, shocked, and maybe even scared. You're ready for more, and the world knows it. End of preface. However, the road of the virtuous is like the early sun, gleaming increasingly brighter till the full light of day. Proverbs 418. Your life is like a dawn, stable, dazzling, and unstoppable. It does not haste or seek approval, yet its light affects all it touches. This is what it means to live for divine purpose. Your presence both inspires and unsettles, pouring light into regions where others would rather remain in the dark. Whether people applaud or resist, they can't ignore it. Walking the road of faith demands bravery and resilience. It's not about striving for perfection or seeking acceptance, but about rising from each setback and being loyal to your mission. Such a life confronts others because it mirrors what they may have overlooked. The responses you elicit, whether adulation or discomfort, are not about you, but about what your life exposes. Some will see hope. Others may feel exposed, but everyone is affected by the light you bring. Living with a purpose is like holding a torch through a storm. Doubts, diversions, and criticism will attempt to extinguish it. But your light remains constant because it originates from something everlasting. Your strength is modest, but persistent, inspires and challenges people around you, while others want comfort and conformity. You are motivated by a purpose considerably larger than yourself. Think about the dawn. It does not pause to explain itself. It just achieves its objective. Similarly, walking freely in your religion allows your life to shine brightly, exemplifying and motivating via example. Not everyone will comprehend your path, and that's okay. Their responses reflect their personal troubles rather than your merits. Each action you take in faith demonstrates the power of a life lived with purpose. Your road may not always be easy, but it will always be meaningful. Like the sun, which rises without fail, your light is intended to shine, to direct and change. Allow your obstacles to serve as a reminder of your inner strength, and believe that no storm will destroy the torch you hold. You are on an impactful path, and you hope that it will have far-reaching consequences. An unmistakable tension occurs when a life is lived inside. Tension meets the ease of inaction. People notice when someone stands out. However, they are hesitant to recognize the expense of that differentiation. What you reflect makes people face what they avoid, the weight of unrealized potential and the fortitude required to break away from ease. Their remarks, whether critical or inquisitive, reflect their own inner turmoil, ignited by the subtle rebellion in your decisions. By choosing purpose over distraction, you are indirectly challenging their resistance to change. This contradiction causes anxiety, because your story exemplifies the depth of change that comes from following a route that many are afraid to take. The commotion around you is not a reaction to what you lack, but rather to the abundance of what you possess. Prepare to take the first step toward greatness. Subscribe today and get started. A life filled with clarity and purpose. It emits an unmistakable radiance. This kind of light is not created or obtained. It comes from the center of a soul that is linked with a greater purpose. It's a unique and irrefutable energy that spreads outward, altering the environment wherever it goes. Such a presence defies the rules, not with words, but with an unsaid strength that disturbs what others would want to let alone. While many people are content to dwell in the shadows of familiarity, the warmth of honesty reveals realities they may not be ready to face. Your genius disturbs, inspires, and discloses, eliciting a mixture of intrigue and uneasiness from those around you. You are the light of the planet. A city on a hill can't be concealed. Matthew 5:14. Your life isn't supposed to fade into the background. You were made to stand out. Light brightly and represent a greater purpose. Like a flame in the darkness, your presence attracts attention, not because you want it, but because your brilliance cannot be ignored. Whether others praise or oppose it, your life reflects something larger. Walking with a spiritual purpose automatically inspires people around you. For some, it evokes optimism and curiosity. For others, it reveals weaknesses or untapped potential. You are not responsible for how others react. You will not be asked to dull your light for their comfort, but to completely embrace the brightness of your destiny. You were created to brighten and transform the world around you, just as the sun shines without apologies. Your decision is based on faith, compassion, and honesty. Send a message louder than words. Not everyone will be celebrating it. Some may criticize or question you for reasons other than your identity. However, since your life discloses facts, they would like to disregard them. But remember that their emotions do not define you. They mirror the effect of your light. Every step you take and every act of faith contributes to a larger story. You're not here to seek permission or explain your route. You are here to live courageously in accordance with a divine calling. Allow the cacophony of others to remind you that your life is creating waves. The world may not always comprehend, but that is because your mission is based on something everlasting. Keep glowing, understanding that your light is more than simply an impression. It demonstrates the transforming force inside you. Walk with confidence, knowing that your path is being directed by heavenly hands, and that your life is having a far-reaching influence. Faith, when lived fearlessly, operates as a magnifying glass, highlighting realities that others may choose to ignore. Reactions are triggered not just by what you do, but also by the core of who you are. For some, your dedication rekindles dormant aspirations they left unattended. For others, it stands in striking contrast to their concessions and concerns. Their reactions, whether filled with adoration or embarrassment, reflect more about their inner conflicts than about you. You create an impression by embodying a cause that cannot be ignored, rather than forcing it. Your presence disrupts complacency and raises questions, giving some hope while upsetting others. Consider this. Throughout history, individuals who walked authentically have drawn both supporters and foes. Their relentless determination highlighted darkness that others refused to address. When others criticize or reject you, it is typically a mirror of their own unresolved conflicts, triggered by what your life symbolizes. Grace rather than revenge is required in these situations. Staying rooted. People seldom notice when someone remains steadfast in their ideas, even if they don't entirely understand why the reactions you elicit, whether appreciation or opposition, are not random. They demonstrate the indisputable power of living authentically. A life lived with aim inspires others, not because it conforms, but because it defies the standard. Whether the emotions are pleasant or negative, they all represent one reality. Your presence was felt. This is something to be proud of, not because it elevates you, but because it demonstrates the transformational power of your path. Allow the voices around you to question, challenge, or even applaud. It all emphasizes how you are making a difference in a world that is resistant to change. Walking against the flow of a society obsessed with self-interest and temporary ambitions is an act of resistance. However, genuine leaders and visionaries have never succeeded by disappearing into the throng. Choosing to live consciously does not imply aiming for perfection. It entails committing to a unique lifestyle. It entails abandoning diversions and pursuing something timeless, even if it is uncomfortable or misunderstood. Those around you will note the peace you keep throughout turmoil, the steadfast resolution when everything requires compromise, and the quiet strength that distinguishes you in a world driven by noise. But don't be fooled into believing that this route is without resistance. Change unsettles people who want comfort, and change is seldom embraced by those who refuse to evolve. Criticism will arrive. Attempts to pull you back will occur. However, they are not hurdles. These are confirmations. You are not traveling this journey for the approval of others, but for a much larger purpose, to experience what it actually means to be chosen. You are not alone on this path. If you have a profound sense that you have been selected, you have come to the correct spot. Take the next step to connect with us. By selecting the Join button, you will have access to special information and receive the necessary support for your spiritual journey. This isn't simply about being a member of a community. It's about gaining unique insights that may change your life and bring you closer to your divine purpose. Make your decision now and join us on this trip. Take your spot among the selected ones. Join today. Individuals throughout history have lived lives that demonstrated their unwavering purpose. They endured rejection, treachery, and insurmountable difficulties. But their resolve propelled them onward. Those who questioned or opposed them often did so not because they denied their abilities, but because their bravery highlighted what others lacked. Their legacy was founded not on popular acceptance, but on the quiet courage to pursue a calling bigger than themselves. Every step you take in faith reflects their path. You may not notice the results right away, but your endurance sows seeds of inspiration in others, even in quiet. Resistance is unavoidable, yet it often conceals an unsaid appreciation for your bravery. Living a life with meaningful purpose entails prioritizing the lasting over the ephemeral, the eternal over the superficial. It is about committing to principles that will outlive the current round of adulation. What distinguishes individuals is not their conformity, but their desire to transcend it. Standing out has obstacles, labeling, judgment, and misunderstanding. But your goal is not to win over the audience. Every action you perform represents a greater knowledge that transcends changing perspectives. Allow people to speak, whether with praise or doubt, since your answer will always reflect the clarity of a goal grounded in something far higher. Acknowledging acknowledgement might seem like a delicate balance between gratitude and self-importance. Compliments have the potential to boost your self-esteem significantly. If you lose sight of their ultimate source, every ounce of strength, act of resilience, and flicker of inspiration that others observe in you represents a bigger power at work inside. Accepting praise does not imply digesting it. It entails redirecting it to the source of all good, when others may just perceive your external deeds. You understand the underlying reality that none of this would be possible without direction and strength beyond your own. Then follows the harsh, nasty judgment, which is generally the result of someone else's struggle. It's tempting to let such negativity bother you. However, keep in mind that these remarks are almost never about you. They are often a reflection of unresolved worries or insecurities. From the people who speak them, the weight of their decision does not weaken your mission. It only challenges your determination. Instead of retaliating or fleeing, remain steadfast, knowing that your value is not defined by transient views. Challenges will arise, and there will be times when the volume of disagreement seems overwhelming. This is where your inner power is honed. Resist the impulse to defend or justify oneself. Your deeds say loudly. Those who travel a path of purpose inherently disrupt the existing quo, which is why your presence is noticeable. The suffering you cause is not an indication of failure. It is indication of disturbance. Keep going ahead with clarity and trust. Using every emotion, favorable or bad, as motivation to strengthen your devotion. The spotlight shines not on those who fade into the background, but on those who light the path. Let every comment, whether of appreciation or skepticism, fuel your quest to shine even brighter. Dear brothers and sisters, may the peace of God be with you today. I'm here to remind you of a fundamental fact. Our existence is based on God's divine design, which is unaffected by worldly worries. According to the Bible, everything is done with faith, will be returned to God with great blessing. Luke 638. Like the enormous oak tree, our roots are profoundly embedded in God's global truth. His power secures every stride and every stance we take, and now you have the chance to be a part of that gift. When you click the Super Thank You button and contribute $100, this gesture will be returned to you 100-fold in abundance. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus for good works that God planned ahead of time for us to do. Ephesians 2:14, consider a great artisan creating a masterpiece with care and accuracy. That is your life. God intentionally shapes us to reflect His plan. Every difficulty, every achievement, and every moment you have is part of a big plan to leave an indelible impression. You are not here by mistake, and the emotions you elicit, whether favorable or negative, confirm that you are traveling in accordance with a greater calling. Your mission is like a light that shines in the darkness. It does not dispute with the shadows. It just glows, exposing what is concealed. Some people will welcome the light and be motivated, while others may feel uneasy or reject. But their responses are not about you. They care about what your light reveals in their life. You are not designed to darken yourself for the sake of others' comfort, but to proudly live out God's unique purpose on your life. Consider those who came before us, who were misjudged and questioned, yet decided to be great. Their journeys were defined by hardships, treachery, humiliation, and roadblocks. However, they were not symptoms of failure. They were evidence of intent. Resistance is frequently the best sign that you're on the correct track. Simple paths seldom lead to greatness, and a calling as special as yours was never intended to be ordinary. Your decisions, which are based on faith, honesty, and sacrifice, show the depth of the purpose that drives you. Not everyone will understand, and that's okay. You're not looking for worldly acceptance. You're here to complete a heavenly assignment. Allow their misunderstanding or criticism to remind you of the effect you're making. Your narrative isn't about comfort or acclaim. It is about change. Like a storm-rooted tree, every adversity enhances and refines your calling. Stand steadfast in your mission, knowing that your existence represents something much bigger. You're not just live for today. You are creating a legacy that will last for generations. Keep glowing. continue pushing ahead, and have faith that the Creator who formed you is leading you through every step of your incredible adventure. Clackery. Each act of faith, each choice you make to connect with your higher purpose contributes to something far more than the current moment. These decisions create a legacy that cannot be evaluated by the passing judgments of others. The world will always have something to say, but its words pale in comparison to the long-term influence of a purposeful existence. When concerns or questions occur, let them serve as reminders of your particular journey, one made to stand out rather than blend in. This path transcends praise and criticism because it is based on a plan that goes beyond what others perceive. Allow their comments to ring around you, but never allow them alter the confidence of your mission. Consider this: every emotion you cause, whether positive or negative, is a mirror of something bigger at work. These replies are not random. They are subtle affirmations of the light you radiate and the waves you produce. When others see your religion, even unintentionally, they are acknowledging a presence far larger than yourself. Even disbelief cannot totally reject. The obvious critique isn't failure. It proves your brilliance. In a world more at ease with shadows, answers, whether kind or severe, function as tools. You are leading a transformational symphony. They may not comprehend, but their words serve as reminders that your life is forging a route that can only be reached via unusual circumstances. Every kind or critical reaction to your life is part of a larger mission being fulfilled through you. Nothing is wasted. Every word adds substance to the narrative being spoken. Reframe what you're hearing. Criticism is not a rejection, but an acknowledgement of your particular path. Praise is not flattery, but rather a recognition of the greater force at work inside you. These are not distractions, they are tools designed to help you concentrate and enhance your faith. Instead of being persuaded by viewpoints, stop to consider what lessons or insights are being shared. Your trip is more than simply a personal undertaking. It's a live illustration of trusting in something far bigger. Each step demonstrates the faithfulness that is transforming your tale into something substantial. Throughout history, people who ventured to live in accordance with divine purpose have encountered criticism and misunderstanding. Nonetheless, their lives are remembered throughout history because they refused to comply. Ordinary people were converted into change agents thanks to their amazing commitment. Consider someone whose perspective was too broad for others to understand, inciting envy and treachery. Even in the face of hardship, their unwavering faith served as the basis for redemption, not just for themselves, but also for those who doubted them. These tales remind us that the journey is not simple, but it is profoundly important. By being committed to your calling, you emulate the perseverance of those who came before you, demonstrating that a life lived bravely in faith creates a legacy that lasts beyond the present. Bethe. Superstition. The next phase is here. Subscribe today and let's go ahead together. Consider someone who is confronted with daunting odds, yet refuses to let fear determine their decisions. When the weight of duty became apparent, they boldly stepped forward. Knowing that their actions would have far-reaching implications, they might have fled and avoided the danger, but instead they embraced their mission, demonstrating that genuine bravery comes from conviction rather than power. Consider someone whose potential has been neglected and underrated by people around them. Despite the mistrust and contempt, they rose to face seemingly insurmountable hurdles. They rely not on their own strength, but on a firm confidence in a higher power guiding them. Every action they took became a tribute to a larger purpose than the challenges they faced. These tales are more than simply remnants from the past. They provide a foundation for the decisions you confront today. You, like others who held steady in the face of uncertainty, may endure rejection or seemingly insurmountable problems. However, your faith gives you the strength to act, even when others don't comprehend the emotions of people around you, whether helpful or critical. A corollary to the bigger story developing in your life, you do not have to explain or defend your travels to anybody. It is not their eyesight to see. Instead, remain grounded in the understanding that each stride forward contributes to a legacy of meaning and effect. Allow others to question. Allow them to misinterpret. Your work speaks for itself, and it will have an impact well beyond the present moment. Do not follow the pattern of this world, but be changed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:02. Your existence is like a river building its own route, meant to flow courageously, not to choose the easier road. You are not designed to conform to someone else's mold. You are created to travel a path that is distinctively your own, reflecting the divine purpose that has been established for you. Every strength you have and every experience you've had is part of God's artwork, designed to stand out rather than blend in. Living in tension entails accepting who you are without apologies or hesitation. The world may pressure you to comply, to choose the safer path, or to lower your voice, but your calling requires bravery. True purpose does not seek permission. It drives you to rise. Trading your authenticity for transitory approval contradicts the depth of who you were designed to be. Walking in accordance with a greater purpose also entails letting go of the need for worldly affirmation. To trust God's plan, you must believe in His vision, even if others may not grasp it. Like a lighthouse, standing steady against the rushing waters. Your duty is to shine, lead, and represent something larger. Criticism or misunderstanding is not an indication that you're on the wrong track. It confirms the effect your light is having. Your trip will not make sense to everyone, and that is okay. You were not created to seek acceptance, but to heed the call on your life, like a seed growing toward the sun. Your goal is to succeed, even when it defies expectations. Every step you take shows the love and strength of the person who is guiding you. So do not hold back. Walk fearlessly, knowing that your life is a testament to God's plan. Let criticism remind you that your light shines and inspires others. You are not here to comply, but to flourish in the reality of who you were meant to be. Continue pushing ahead, trusting each step is part of a far bigger plan than you can realize. Accept the route set out for you without doubt. Each stride forward is backed by a purpose much bigger than your own. Recognize that others' perspectives, whether congratulatory, skeptical, or dismissive, are not reflections of your value, but rather of their own perspective on the light you carry. Your religion is compelling because it cannot be ignored. Draw attention not to yourself, but to the source of your power. Living in tension and alignment always elicits a reaction. Some people will be inspired. Others will struggle to understand. Some may even refuse openly. However, none of this defines your path, which is founded on something much more profound than transitory human judgments. What genuinely important is your dedication to being grounded in the cause that drives you. Move forth with unshakable conviction. You are supported, recognized, and uniquely positioned to create an influence that goes beyond ephemeral recognition. Each word of praise or criticism serves as a reminder of the power that flows through you, encouraging you to keep on track as you continue. Lean into appreciation for the possibilities and lessons that shape your path. Trust that your life, founded on faith and perseverance, tells a story of hope and strength that points to a greater purpose. It's not about seeking validation from the world, but about being a vessel for something greater, a presence that inspires and uplifts others to the truth, so that every reaction reminds you that you're on a mission bigger than yourself, leaving an indelible mark in line with the calling that only you can fulfill.